All right, guys, here we are on the guinea pig dihybrid cross worksheet. So before we start, let's review a little bit of what dihybrid means. Dihybrid is when you're taking two characteristics, so two traits, because we know that we're just not tall or short, right? That's not our only two options. We could also be tall and have black hair, or tall and have blonde hair, or short and have black hair and short and have long hair. So we're still only looking at two phenotypes, but we have two different genes that we're going to share. So we're looking at two genes and how they can combine. So the first part is kind of showing you how it works. It's baby stepping you in there. So a cross or a mating between two organisms where genes are studied is called a dihybrid cross. The genes are located on a separate chromosome, so the traits themselves are unrelated. So they separate independently of one another. That's the law of independent assortment. All right, so I have my first little guinea pig right here. He's homozygous dominant for both traits, and if we look at our key here, we see that the dominant trait is black and short hair. And then this little guinea pig here is white and has long hair. She's homozygous recessive. Now, you see these little things here, these gametes. Remember, if it's a boy gamete, he's going to have sperm, and it's the female gamete, it's going to be eggs. So remember, we made these gametes by doing the foil application. We talked about this in notes. So remember, foil is first, outer, inner, last. So just like in math, big B to big L. So the first letter, right? The first B, the first L. First, outer. So the two outside letters. Then you have the inner and the last. Okay, and again, because they're all the same letters, you're going to get all the same gametes. Same thing here, but it's going to get a little bit trickier in a second. So that showed us that when you crossed a homozygous dominant and a homozygous recessive, all of your offspring are going to become heterozygous. Okay, so all the offspring are heterozygous, so that means that, remember, I look at my alleles, they're going to be black, and they're going to have short hair. This one's black, and it has short hair. Now, if these two little guinea pigs have some babies, then you want to see what their children could possibly look like. So we go down to here. So if I have my my gametes, so I have one little hamster up or guinea pig up there, and one guinea pig over to the side. Now you're like, okay, where did I get the letters, but where did they come from? Remember, let me write it out to the side so you can see it really well. Big B, big L, little l. So remember our foil method. First, that's going to make one gamete. So there it is, big B, L. And then after first, outer, big B, little l. And then inner, little b, little l, I'm sorry, big L, and then last, little b, little l. All right, notice that the other gamete, the male, they both had the same genotype, so it's going to be the exact same gametes over here. So no reason to do it again. Don't make life hard on you. All right, the way that you do these crosses is the same way that we did it in the simple monohybrids. You dropped one letter down, you moved one letter over. You dropped one allele down, you moved one allele over. But you have to keep the B's together and the L's together. So you have to keep both the alleles, the genotype, the genes for that particular trait together. So I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can see. Big B, big L, big L. Okay? So now the next one. Big B, big L, little l. And then keep going through. Big L. Remember to keep your dominant letters in front regardless, but still remember priority 1 is to keep the B's together and the L's together. But always put dominant in front. It's just good practice. Okay, scroll down a little bit. Okay, so now what they want you to do is figure out the phenotypic ratio. When you do dihybrids, they're not going to ask you for the genotypic ratio anymore. They're only going to ask you for the phenotypic. Remembering that phenotypic means physical appearance, so what it looks like. So all you have to do is just go around and check and count how many of each particular phenotype you have. Now, there's only 4 different possibilities. You can either be black and short, black and long, white and short, or white and long. Again, you always do it in that order where you have the dominant alleles together, then you do dominant recessive, and then you do recessive dominant, and then recessive. You always do it in that order. Okay, so if I go through and I count the ones that are black and short, I'm going to be looking for anyone with a capital B and anyone with a capital L. So remember, regardless if it's heterozygous or homozygous, that capital letter will overpower it. So this one has a capital B and a capital L. Guinea pig here does. 2. So there's 3, 4, 5. Not this one. 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's it. So 9 of them are black and short. Okay? And then black and long. So if they're black, again, they're going to have a big B. But if they're long, they're going to have 2 little L's. So I need to find the ones that have at least 1 big B and 2 little L's. They need to have at least 1 big B and 2 little L's. Okay. So those are already used. So that's why I usually put little marks so that way you don't have to look at them again. Just saves time. So there's 1 big B. There's 2 little L's, so I found 1. There's 1 big B, 2 little L's. I found 2. Looking for my next big B. There's my next big B, 2 little L's. There's 3, and that's it. So 9, 3. And then I go back through, and now I'm looking for white and short. Remember, if it's white, it has to be little b, little b. That's my only option for it to appear white, and it just needs at least 1 big L. Doesn't have to have 2 big L's, just 1. So then if I go back through, all of these have been used already, so there's no point in me looking at them again. I got them. So save yourself some time. So I just have 4 guinea pigs remaining. So if I look at the 4 that are left, big, little b, at least 1 big L. Little b, 1 big L, little b, 1 big L. So that's 3. And then white and long, my last one, just have 1. So this ratio would be a 9, 3, 3, 1 ratio. And I'll tell you a shortcut that will make your life so much easier. Whenever you cross 2 heterozygous organisms in a dihybrid cross, you're always going to get a 9, 3, 3, 1 ratio. So you'll probably see that on the EOCT. So just keep that in the back of your mind, and it'll make things a lot easier for you. Rather than having to work out this whole big old Punnett square and try to do the ratio. Whenever you see that cross of 2 heterozygous organisms, so you see that heterozygous right there, crossed with a heterozygous, it's going to make that 9, 3, 3, 1 ratio. All right, let's keep moving on. All right, so that's slowly getting harder. So now they didn't give us our gametes this time. You got to figure that out. So you got to do that FOIL method that I told you about. So I do my first. So big B, big L, outer, big B, little L, inner, little b, big L, last, little b, little L. All right. Now I do this little guinea pig first, little b, big L, last. I'm sorry, I did the last. That's fine. Little b, little L, inner, little b, big L, last. Little b, little L. Okay, make sure I did that right. Yep. Always check yourself because it's hard to go back. Okay, so next what you do is you have your gametes, and you're going to move one gamete on the top side and one gamete, a set of gametes on the side. Again, doesn't matter who. This particular thing said to put this guy, he was the boy they went with, so we're gonna put his gametes there. So all we're doing is recopying it. Let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, so big B, big L. Big B, little L, little b, big L, little b, little L. Okay, now the female gametes. Oops, made a boo-boo. It's okay, I have an eraser. Little b, big L, little b, little L, little b, big L, little b, little L. All right, so now we got to do the cross. I'm going to switch colors. I'm tired of red. Okay. Move the B over, drop the B down. Move the L over, drop the L down. Let's race. Let's see who can do this faster, me or you. I have to do it on this big giant board. So I have to move my head more. So I think it's harder for me. Am I winning? Remember, keep your dominant alleles in the front. And keep your B's and your L's together. I'm done. Yay. Did I win or did you win? All right, check your work. Make sure you got the same thing that I did. Maybe pause the video and just double check and make sure you're not having any problems. But let's keep moving on. Now we have to figure out how many of each of the offspring there are. Remember, we don't have to figure out genotypes anymore. Thank goodness on that one. We just have to figure out, what are these called? Phenotypes. Very good. So, black and short. So black and short, if we remember from our key a little bit ago, black was capital B, and short was lowercase l. I'm sorry, was capital L. Okay, so if they're black and short, they need to have at least one big B and one big L. They need to have at least one. So we're going to look for ones that have one big B and one big L. So big B, big L. So there's one. There's two. There's three. There's 4. 5. Nope. 6. And that's it. Okay, so there's 6 black and short. All right, now they're black and long. So with the black and long, they have to have at least one big B, something else. I don't care if it's heterozygous or homozygous. But if they're long, that's recessive, so they have to have 2 little L's. So I'm going to, again, I can skip the ones I've already marked off. And so this one, remember this one wasn't one. Let me switch colors, that way you can see. There's my big B, and it has 2 little L's, so that's 1. There's 2. And then there's no more big B's left, so there's only 2. Okay, so next I have white and short. So remember, in order for it to be white, it has to be little b. But in order for it to be short, it has to have at least one big L and something else. I don't care what. Okay, so white and short, I need little b's. There's no more left in this row. There's no more left in this row. All I have left are these 2 rows. So I'm going to start there. Little b, one big L. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. Yay, 6. And then white and long, little b, little L. There and there, so that's 2. So your phenotypic ratio is 6:2:6:2. Okay, moving right along. More guinea pigs. Okay, have to figure out Is this a duplicate of what we just did? Sorry, let me think for a second. Big B, little L. Nope, it's a new one. Sorry. Okay. So with the gametes, gotta do it again. So big B, little L. Big B, little L. Little b, little L. Little b, little L. Okay. Little b, big L. Little b, big L. Little b, big L. Little b, big L. Made my gametes. All I'm doing is moving them to the side, so I'm just copying. Okay. So, if you notice, all of these are the same, right? So if I do this cross, big B, little L, big L, little L, what are these all going to look like? The exact same. Save yourself the trouble, just draw the arrow. It's perfectly okay for you to do that, okay? Because that shows me that you know that all of these guinea pigs will look exactly the same. Okay, so same thing here. Big B, little b, big L, big L. Draw your arrow. They're all going to be exactly the same. Okay, little b, big L, little L. They're all going to be exactly the same. And then little b, big L, big L. Okay. Okay, so then it says black short, black long, white short, white long. Remember that I need at least one big B, something else, and at least one big, one big L. So all of these would be black and long, and all of these would be black and long, right? So that's going to be 8. I'm sorry, black and short. I misspoke. All right, in order for them to be black and long, they have to have one big B and 2 little L's. So I don't have any of those, so that's 0. White and short, little b, and at least one big L. So little b, and one big L. You notice that these 2 rows are the same. So that's going to be 8, and so there's going to be 0 white long. So it's 8, 0, 8, 0. Okay, moving right along. Okay, we're out of guinea pigs, and we're on to pea plants. So it told this first part right up here, it's just an example of everything that you need to write in these particular questions. So it says a green pea plant, homozygous dominant, is crossed with a short white pea plant, homozygous recessive. And so it showed you the cross, and it showed you how to write down the phenotypic results. So then you kept on moving. It says a tall green pea plant, and it gave you the parent, big T, big G, little g, is crossed with a tall green pea plant, big T, big G, little g. Do the cross. Okay, this is going to be hard because it's a little box and these markers are kind of big, but bear with me. All right, so I'm going to do the foil out to the side just so you can see it. Okay, and then the other parent is oops, sorry. G. Yeah, okay, so that got them all. All right, then you do your cross. So let's race again, see who can do it. Remember, keep your T's together and your G's together. Okay, all done. All right, now we have to figure out who's tall and green. So tall and green, at least one big T and one big G. Tall and white, one big T, two little G's. Short and white, two little T's. And green, I'm sorry, tall, short and green would be at least one big G. And then short and white would be little T, little T, little G, little G. Okay, so let's go back and count. So I'm looking for big T, big G first. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13 tall and green. Did I miss any? No. All right, and then tall and white. So if they're tall and white, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that got them all. All right, keep moving on. All right, a tall green plant was crossed with a short yellow. I don't know why they switched colors on you. I think they just did that for fun because it still says white down here. So we'll just count that as a oopsies, and we'll change that over to white. Okay, so remembering that tall is dominant and green is dominant, so I have to do my foil first. So big T, little t, crossed with big G, little g, little t, little t, little g, little g. Okay, so let's move out to the side for a second. Whoa, oopsies, sorry. So big T, big G, little g. My first one is T, capital, 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 lower, lower, capital, lower, lower. All right, look at this next one. It's all the same. So I'll still go ahead and do it, but you should by now start to realize there's a pattern. If they're all the same, all your gametes are going to be the same. So, right, little t, little g, little t, little g, little t, little g, little t, little g. Okay, so they're all the same. So that's, again, going to make your life easier because you don't have to do as much crossing. So big T, big G, little g. It's going to be the same all the way down. Big T, little g, little g. Same all the way down. Little t, big G, little g. All the way down. Little t. Oops, I did a TT there, didn't I? Ha, TT. What was that one? I'm sorry, that was little g. Oopsies. Okay, and then little g, all the way down. So then if we do our traits, remember tall, I need at least one big T and something else, one big G and something else. Tall and white, I need to have one big T, something else, and then two little G's. For short, I need two little T's and at least one big G and something else. For short, I need little T, little G, little G. So if I look up at the top, all four of these, right? Big T, big G. So that's going to be 4. All 4 of these here, and so on, and so on. So 4 to 4 to 4, 4 ratio. Okie doke. Now we're in flowers. It says, a heterozygous tall red flowered plant is crossed with a homozygous short white flowered plant. So I don't have a key, so I need to make one first, so that way I can keep my brain straight. All right, so it says heterozygous tall red. I'm just going to use A's and B's because that makes my heart happy. So if it's heterozygous and I see tall and red, I know tall and red are going to be the dominant alleles. So capital A will be for height, so that'll be tall. Lowercase a would be short then. Okay, so then B is going to be the gene for a color. So I know that the dominant allele is red And they haven't told me the recessive allele yet, so I got to keep writing. Plant is crossed with a homozygous short white, so white will be the recessive. Okay, so then it says heterozygous tall red. So I know I need big letter, big letter, little letter. Homozygous short white. So the only way it's going to be short and white, and it says homozygous. I have little b. Oops, look at me putting my b's first. Don't want to do that. Sorry. Little a, little b. Okay, again, look. They're all the same. So you know they're all going to be the same gametes. They're all going to be AB. Save yourself the time. You got to notice patterns like that. All right, so these are all different, so I'm going to get some different mixtures. So capital, lower, capital, lower. Okay, let's do the cross. And again, notice these are all going to be the same. Save yourself the time. Just do the one cross. Okay. Big A, big B, little b. Big A, little b, little b. Little A, big B, little b. Little A, little b, little b. Okay, so again, I have a 4, 4, 4, 4 ratio. You see that? This one's tall and red. This one's tall and white. This one's short and red. This one's short and white. Okay? All right, moving on. Ooh, last one. All right, two heterozygous tall green plants are crossed. Okay? So if they're heterozygous, remember, big A, big B, little b, big A, big B, little b. What did I tell you on the first page that you know you're gonna have if you cross two heterozygous? Do you remember the ratio? What's it always gonna be when you cross two heterozygous? 9, 3, 3, 1. See? So if you knew that shortcut, that sure would make it easy. But because this is a practice worksheet, we still want to work it out and make sure that that you know how to do it. So if it asks you to show your work, you can't just shortcut and do that. But if it's multiple choice or something like that, and it says what's it going to be, you know, save yourself the trouble. Just pick the 9, 3, 3, 1 and move on with life. So let's go ahead and work it out. So by now you should know how to do your gametes. Okay, let's do this cross. You can race again if you'd like. Oops. Did you catch that? Did you see my boo-boo? There it goes. Okie doke. Now let's go back and double check that I got this 9, 3, 3, 1 ratio. So for tall and green, remember I need at least one big A and one big B. At least one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's it. So I was good there. Tall and white, if it's tall, one big A, two little B's, at least. All right, so big A, two little b's. 1, big A, two little b's. 2, no big A, no big A. 3, found them. All right, then short and green. Short is little a, and then green is at least one big B. So 1, 2, 3. Got that one, and there's the lonely little short white one, homozygous recessive. Okay, yay, we're done. Good job. Hopefully this helped, and I'll see you in class.